Welcome to this session. My name is Sam Nasir. Today we're going to talk about building Forge integration with Microsoft Power Automate. A little bit about me. I'm a principal technical consultant with Autodesk Consulting. Today we'll review how to use Microsoft Power Automate to call Autodesk Forge APIs. We have two use cases: exporting BIM 360 projects to OneDrive and pushing BIM 360 issues to SQL database. For the first use case, this is a Power Automate flow that exports BIM 360 project data for a selected account to a CSV file in OneDrive. We have a GitHub repo where we're hosting all the materials, and we have also a step-by-step guide. We're going to go through and how to run the flow. For the second use case, this is basically a custom connector and a flow that pushes BIM 360 issue details from a selected BIM 360 project to a SQL database. We also have a GitHub repo that shows step-by-step guide, and we're going to go through how to execute and how it works, and also we're going to show how to push the data on schedule to Power BI. So enough for the slides. Let's move to live demo. So for the repo, this is the repo for the first use case. Mainly here there's the zip file, that's the flow basically that we need to import, and there's the PDF file that shows when the flow is successfully imported. This is how it looks like. For this flow, you would need to create a Forge app. Here's an app, and the app will need BIM 360 API and data management API. We need to provision it in BIM 360 account. I provisioned this app in this BIM 360 account. In this BIM 360 account, we have 130 active projects, and we have also 40 archive projects. So to validate, we need to export 170 projects. This is my OneDrive. It's empty now, and this is my Power Automate account. To import, the first step in the process is to create the OneDrive, the connection between Power Automate and OneDrive. So we click on Data Connections, and you click on New Connections, and you select OneDrive for Business. Then you go through the authentication process. All right. So once complete, it will show as a connection. Then you go to My Flow tab. You click on Import. Then you click on Upload. And you select the zip file that you downloaded from the GitHub repo. Click on Open. So see at the bottom, it's uploading the package. So now it's uploaded. It requires in the setup to select the connection. So we'll do here and select the connection we just created for OneDrive, and then we click on Import. Now it's importing the package. Now importing is completed. We click on the flow. Click out and come back. We should see now that under My Flows, export BIM 360 projects to OneDrive. Simply click on Run, and it would sign in. And you click on Continue, and request client ID, client secrets, and BIM accounts. I have them written down here, so let's see. that. And now run the flow. Click on run. And now we can review. It's still running. Click on. You can see the step-by-step process where it's now. And now it's successful. So we can review if, when it's successful. We go to OneDrive and we can see that we just had a CSV file created. We click on it and you should see the 170 projects. Right. And so what is this? Go back to the flow, click on edit so you can see how it works. Basically, the first step is just the input step. Second step is where we use the HTTP action from Power Automate to call for authentication. We provide and embody the client ID and client secret. Second step is we use also the HTTP action. We use the account ID and with the token from the previous step, and then we store the data in a variable. Then we try to validate we have more than 100 projects. We get the next 100 and we add them all to the variable. Then we move the data to a CSV table and we push CSV to OneDrive. That's pretty much how it works. Now we can move to the second use case here. So pushing BIM 360 issues to SQL. Same thing here. In additional to the zip file here, we have the SQL script to create the table, SQL table. And we also have a JSON file for the custom connector. So let's start with the SQL. I already created the database, but basically you can do it from the SQL Server Management Studio. You can click on open file and select this, and then you can execute it. So this is pretty much the schema of the product. Already have it done. So that's the database setup is done. Now in Flow, we'll go to under Data, Custom Connectors, and now we'll try to bring the custom connector, import an open file. We'll select import and we'll select the JSON file, we just download it, call it BIM 360 data demo. So first step is you can choose, that's kind of optional, but you can choose to have a logo. Select this as our logo, rest, and click on secure. Here you need to provide the client ID and client secret. Scroll down here a little bit. Also require the refresh URL. Okay, and now click on create connector. So now the connector is created. It generates a redirect URL. You copy this URL and go back to your Forge app and you edit it. I already have it, but you would basically put the call, copy and update the callback URL. Second, you would need to go to connections in Power Automate and add the connection to the added custom connector, which is 360. Create. So that would allow you to authenticate. And you can see here what we're doing here is we're identifying three-legged authentications. We authenticated the app. And also we need a connection to SQL Server. In this case, we have a SQL Server authentication. We need a server. We need database name. And we need the admin and the password. Alright. So that created the connection. Now we're ready to import the flow. Click on upload, SQL, alright, we'll do the same thing here. Define, import, okay. And then we click on import. Alright, so now the flow is completed. Now we can refresh and click out and click back in. You'll be able to see the new flow. And click on run. So in this case, you don't need really to input anything because it's done through the three-legged authentication. Alright, so if we click, it's running. Give it a minute. I will show you the steps basically. This could take a minute. Alright, successful. So you can see here the data for the issues. You can see each record. That's all basically pushed to the database. So we can validate here. Right click. So the data was pushed to SQL. Let's review so the input here is nothing. That's how you can pretty much set it up on Automate or anything else. the get a project here. This is through the custom connector, and the first thing, we clear the table, and we go through and add all the fields from all of that from the custom connector. If you want to review the custom connector, how it works, click on custom connectors, edit. It's all in a definition tab, so you can see here what we have. We have a GitHub project that we call the GitHub. Then we get projects in the hub. Then we get the specific projects. The top two endpoints are not exposed. This is the only one that's exposed, and that calls basically the other two endpoints. And the get issues basically get the data, or the look at the flow again. You can see how the get issues uses the basically the container ID from the get project endpoint. So that's how it all works together. Next, let's take a look at how you can automate this entire thing and put it on schedule. Basically, in PowerBI, you can define a data flow, and you can basically say let's say we're defining a new one. And in here, I can click on Azure, for example, where I stored my database. In this case, I can pull data here. So already have this done in my case. So this is basically the flow that I have, data flow, and you can schedule it. So let's review it in a different view. So click on data flow. We have this data flow. You can schedule the data flow, and then you can schedule your data set. You don't need a gateway for in this case, basically. And then you can pull it into your report. So here's a report. Basically, it's pulling the data from the issues that we just pushed to SQL. And you can actually review. So this is basically the project that we have been pulling the issues from. And if you go to project home, you can pretty much embed the Power BI. So basically, they can automate the entire process from in Power Automate. You can schedule the flow, and then you can in Power BI schedule the refresh of the data, and you can review then the data in your BIM 360 projects as a card. Basically, you can see here an example. All right, thank you so much.